Welcome to Throw Off the Lines, the podcast where we navigate life's changes, explore new horizons, and embrace the journey. I'm your host, Stephanie York, an executive coach with a passion for charting new courses on the water and in life. Ready for some total change? Let's dive in. Hi there, and welcome to part 2 of my manifestation series. And this is going to be manifestation in motion, from wanting to doing. So in part 1, we talked about finding abundance every day in your life, your world, your surroundings. And I got some feedback and people liked it. And some wanted to keep using gratitude. I say use whatever works for you. I really love abundance because I can tangibly say, I've got this and gratitude is kind of the same, but I don't know why I like the word abundance. So in this episode, part 2 of manifestation, I want to work on being more tactical in manifesting. How do you actually make manifestation real based on the book, The Source by Dr. Swart? So let's dive into that. In my opinion, and because I see a lot of fluffy dream and it will come true kind of videos on the internet, I want to find a path to bringing what you want into your life through a series of steps and actions and real tangible stuff. I'm a lot more of a logical animal, and I want to know what can I do to make things happen for me in my life. And I want to try and share that with you, because I'm going to try and go through manifestation while I'm doing this, and let's do it together. If you're going to do this 6-part series, let's do this physical manifestation together, and I'll share what I'm doing and what's working. I'll do some short videos. So manifestation is not just about knowing what you want, which is really incredibly important, and we're going to cover some more of that in a future episode. It's about doing what needs to be done to get there. So again, based on the neuroscience in the book, The Source by Swart, this episode bridges the gap kind of between your desire and your action and helping you build a manifestation practice that actually works. So we can all sit and dream about what we want, and we can open our hearts and wish upon a star, but I wanted more real things to help me focus those energies. How do I try and train myself to be more focused, think more positively, and then act on those positive, abundant feelings? And I felt these steps gave me more energy towards bringing what I want into my life. Now, keep in mind, what I want is not the big, bold dreams necessarily, $1 million, not loads of money, a perfect person, or even expensive things. It's about having a life I find joy in every day, peace, harmony, happiness, and more. And I find as I align myself closer to my purpose, which is what this podcast is all about, I find more peace and more joy and more harmony, and I am more motivated to do those things that help me pursue that. And it's opened up massive doors for me already. When people told me I couldn't even do this podcast, and now I'm on episode 38, and that's 38 weeks worth of podcasts. I don't know. They told me I couldn't, and then I did. And, that's the case for a lot of us. So let's jump in. So if you've ever said, this is what I want, but I don't know how to make it happen, this episode's for you. The magic of manifestation lies in the alignment between intention, belief, and action. And inspired by the Source, we'll unpack how to bridge desire and behavior using those neuroscience-backed tools that are in the book. So just thinking about your dreams will not just magically make them happen. It's a trap to keep doing passive manifestation and thinking it will work. Let's consider some of the doctor's suggestions from the book. She says the universe responds to clarity plus momentum. And some of the things that we want to think about when we're talking about clarity plus momentum, the brain systems can work in your favor if you know how. The actual brain we have, we don't even use 10% of its capacity. So she talks about how manifestation isn't magic, it's neuroscience. Your prefrontal cortex sees the future and makes plans. Your amygdala tries to protect you from risk. And when you balance them, calming fear while acting with clarity, you align your brain, your body, and your belief system in powerful ways. Many of the ways to calm your brain and body and beliefs are meditating, breathing exercises, relaxing while you're doing these manifestation tasks, not being afraid of change, allowing yourself to calm down and hope and believe and see these manifestations not as a fearful change. And subconsciously, you don't even know what's happening, but by calming yourself down, it opens you up more. And the key to this is to create enough structure and emotional safety through practice and calming techniques to allow action to override fear. This is probably the biggest hurdle to so many people I talk to who know what they want, but their habits, dopamine response settings, and fears override their ability to form and follow a good meditation practice. And the ones who do it daily really try to do it, they reap the rewards. My clients are proof. They're calmer, they're happier, they can handle adversity so much better, they handle challenges better, they're not afraid of what's happening, they feel empowered. And when you practice doing these things, you can too. Now, reframing manifestation from picturing an object, it can move into an action. This is what I want becomes, this is what I'm willing to do. And then you're not afraid of doing those things. Instead of just sitting in a dream puddle, you're actually able to say, this is what I'm willing to do to achieve my dream. Goal setting's not enough without behavioral alignment. It's what my podcast is all about. Effort. Go back to my episode on effort. It's all about embracing the effort and moving through change and moving through challenge. Goal setting is great too, though. A good goal cannot be achieved if the fear overrides your ability to reach for it. This podcast is a perfect example of that, and I can do some things on examples in my own life. So Dr. Swart lists practical manifestation tools in her book. And here's 3 neuroscience-backed exercises to do. Let's jump into the 3 neuroscience-backed techniques to move from wanting to doing. And again, get her book. Her book's amazing if you're an action-based, goal-oriented person. So get an action board. We talked about that before. Not just a vision board. That vision board should be actionable. Please feel free to use your vision board to create a more profound action board. Let's continue the process of visualizing and creating that. Instead of static images, create a board that includes your vision. What do you want in your life? Pick the things you want on your vision board. It can be anything. Stretch your imagination. Think wildly outside the box. Whenever we hear people talking about manifestation, including Oprah and people who are very successful at the top of their careers, they often say they wish they would have dreamed bigger. I hear that over and over again. So why not? You got this one life. Dream huge. I don't care. Bring it. Why not have fun with this? Get everything on there. Keep adding, changing, and it'll grow with you. I promise you. Mine is growing with me as I speak. Now, the biggest step is creating an action, even one tiny one, that will help you get closer to that vision. One action step per week is a great start. You got 52 actions you've taken towards your goals in a year if you're doing one a week. Imagine if you multiplied that. Visual reminders of your behavior shifts. I want to be fit and healthy, or I want to run a marathon, or I want to get off my medication through diet and exercise. So let's visualize the reminders of the vision. If it's a healthier body, great. Have a picture of gym shoes. Then get your gym shoes physically next to your front door and leave them right there as a reminder that you want to make those steps happen. And those visual things. I want a more comfortable, more organized home that makes me feel healthy and thriving. And for some people, maybe they buy themselves flowers. Buy flowers, have them in a vase so you can see them every day. I want to do a podcast. So I have my podcast equipment literally on my desk next to my computer day after day after day. And it reminds me that I'm a podcaster. I'm a coach. I'm an athlete. I'm calling myself these things. So create visual reminders of behavioral changes that you want to make based on that vision board. And this helps to reinforce the link between desire and discipline, and it helps your neuroscience pathways in your brain. So number 2 in this process, do mental rehearsal and visualization. This is an amazing step. A lot of the manifestation videos do not talk about as much. Most of us have heard about athletes doing visualizations. CEOs do it. You can do it too. Top coaches, both physical and psychological, work in this way. We want you to visualize what you're going to do. I have a client in mortgages, and he could never visualize himself on stage doing as much production as that person was doing at a big conference he went to. And so we started visualizing him up on that stage while we also had massive action steps for him to take. And he blew past that by almost double in the first 12 months we worked together. And you just don't look back, because now you've made an inherent change. You've transformed transformed yourself and transformed your thought process, and you've transformed yourself physically and mentally, and then the sky's the limit once you break through those barriers, and there's nothing to be afraid of. Imagine doing the thing, not just getting the result. I want $1 million. Well, how are you going to get $1 million? What skills do you have? Or I'm going to be fit. I want to run a 10K. I visualize myself out there running a 10K. I go to a 10K and I see people running it and I use those visuals. I get myself out and I walk more, and then I start little jogs and then getting that result. Listen to my episode on effort. When you train your brain and body to enjoy engaging in the effort, you can then keep building on it. Doing the thing becomes the goal, not just getting the thing. And that is a massive change that just propels you towards that thing. And you've heard the saying, it's not the destination, but the journey. That is where your manifestation key is. Start the journey, get on the path, keep going towards what you want. The alternative is to stay right where you are. And you would not be listening to this podcast if that was the case. So you have nothing to lose, so get this ball rolling. This mental rehearsal activates neural pathways to reduce resistance to action. And by seeing in your mind what you are doing and what you want, you then enable your brain to open up to the idea, accept the fact, and help you push towards it. You break down resistance to that. Practice will enable you to create new pathways in your thinking, which opens up possibility, and then you can create actual change. So what are your implementation intentions? Let's look at why they matter. Using the formula, if X happens, I will do Y. So think about this. If this happens, I'll do that. If I feel nervous about reaching out, I'll write a 3-line draft and send it anyway. If I'm afraid people are going to stare at me at the gym because I'm not in good shape, I'm going to look at positive images of myself on my phone that I really like about me. I'm going to tell myself 3 good things about myself, and I'm going to go to the gym anyways. And, if I'm afraid to call on a client because they're going to turn me down, or call on a referral source that I kind of know, but you know what? They need what I have. I'm not selling them, pipe cleaners. I'm going to just create a script through ChatGPT. I'm going to use that script and I'm going to call 5 people, and I'm going to feel how it feels to do that. So train your brain to act automatically in moments of uncertainty, and that takes practice. I coach people in recovery too. I don't want to drink tonight. Usually I drink on a Friday night. I'm going to feel compelled to drink, but instead of doing that, I will do these 3 things that I've told myself I'm going to do. There's so many ways you can retrain your brain and break down that knee-jerk response, and you're going to start automatically applying, if X happens, I will do Y. And the more you can come up against a barrier and work your way through that stronger path, it becomes easier and easier, and you beat down the bushes, and all of a sudden you've got a walking path, then you got a bike trail, then you got a go-kart trail, then you got a road, and now you're doing amazing things. Before you know it, you are easily doing things you did not know you could. Like me, this podcast, I had people tell me I couldn't do it. I was afraid, but I keep pushing past these fears, and like it or not, here I am. So let's tackle the 9 common blockbusters to use when you get stuck and ways to move through them. So big one is fear of failure. And reframe, action is data collection. Every time I try and learn, it is great. Each attempt is beating down the brush in that new mental path. You're on it and trying to create and grow into a new road. And I tell my clients this. I just had a great breakthrough with somebody who hates being told what to do, avoids, but really wants to do the actions that we're agreeing to, one of my clients. And the breakthrough we had this week was, I'm not telling him what to do. We're in agreement, and he's fighting himself. He's not fighting me, and he can't place the blame on me. And then he realized every time I do those things, my resistance to it is less. And if I do it 3 times in 1 week, I feel really comfortable with doing that thing. And it's no longer me being stubborn. It is I'm learning. And the action data collection, every time, okay, I don't want to drink tonight. I coach a lot of people in recovery as well, and wanting to be more sober and get better practices. Every time I I want to go to the gym, but I'm afraid of going to the gym. I'm tired or whatever. And we drive to the gym, and I talk about this in other podcasts, and I'm at the gym. And then I went into the gym, and I feel really good after I went to the gym, even though I only got on a treadmill. I didn't lift any weights. You come home, next time you drive to the gym, you remember I felt good. And you just keep breaking this down. So remember, action through failure and fear is data collection for your brain. And you're not failing, you're refining your information. Each step, thought, and action are helping you change your future. It's like sliding mirrors. You chose to go this way instead of stay in the stuck path you're in. The only way to change is to try. So there's also number 2, and this is self-sabotage, often driven by subconscious beliefs. Listen to my episode on self-talk. It's a critical component to any change. Use journaling or coaching to identify hidden fears. If you have self-sabotage behaviors, everybody has self-sabotage behaviors. We might not understand where they're coming from. We don't need to understand where they exist in our subconscious. If you work very hard on that previous step, which is, understanding you have a fear of failure, but doing things anyways, being brave about this, you have an implementation formula. If X happens, then I will do Y. You can break through old thought patterns and negative self-beliefs, and you can change that cycle of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage isn't weakness. I tell my people who are trying to be more sober or trying to overcome past flaws, or, they have PTSD from other coaching companies, and I say, this self-sabotage or this feeling that you can't get something done or you're not good enough, it isn't weakness. It's an outdated protection your body and mind and subconscious created based on past experiences. And if you're truly, truly stuck, get a therapist and find a professional. I'm not a psychologist, but I help my clients tackle this all the time. So it's an outdated protection that we can take steps to break through. You're not broken. Your brain is trying to keep you safe using old data. You are who you are because of the past. You can become who you want to be right now, today, step by step. It is possible. I am living proof. My clients are living proof. There's millions of people out there making change. You can do it too. It's scary, but that's okay. The more you act in alignment with your vision, remember we have an action board, a vision board. We know what we want. The more you rewire your neural circuitry for confidence and clarity and action. So the third thing that often is holding us back, because we're trying to really step into the neuroscience-based techniques to break through this stuff, and the 9 common blocks that we want to bust through, is we're waiting for the perfect time. And I get this a lot when I talk to my people about goals and dreams and visions. And their time is so precious. It is so incredibly precious. We do not have time to wait for the perfect time. And when I first tried to start this podcast a year ago, I was around a person who I thought was my friend, and she absolutely undermined me and cut me off at the knees trying to get my podcast started. And that's okay. I did not get discouraged by it because I've been doing a lot of my internal work. And I was able to kind of chuckle and say, well, that is really interesting that this is what this person's trying to do. And I was analyzing my response to it. And then I said, well, I guess this isn't a good time to do it. And I waited a month because I wasn't in a great location. I was stuck on a boat in the middle of the ocean on my way to Fiji. And I said, I'm gonna as soon as I got to Australia, I flew from Fiji to Australia to race on some sailboats. I said, you know what? I'm not in my own home. I still have my podcast equipment because I'm a podcaster, doggone it, right? This is me. And I just started it. And you can hear it in my early podcast episodes. They are not good. They are not well done. But I was like, it's not perfect. I don't care. Progress starts now with imperfect steps. And I'm going to learn on my way. Boy, have I learned. And you know what? There is no perfect time. Don't wait for it. It's such a block. Visualize what you want and take a step this week towards it. What is it? Another block is people don't have kind of a mini mantra. I love mini mantras. I love, you can do it, go for it, all that stuff. And when I'm doing a meditation or I'm in a stressful moment and I'm being battered around because I've had a lot of hurdles. And I think the more I push to get my stuff done, the more things, they align for me, but boy, they're hard. I have to overcome a lot of internal processes and worthiness issues. But my mini mantras are a small alignment action that go towards, big, perfect plans. When I say I can, when I say I'm worthy, people that are overcoming, when I'm coaching them, really deeply personal imposter syndrome or ingrained actions and behaviors. Like, I'll go back to being sober. People who've been drinking for years and really want to change that and align themselves differently. It's the I'm worthy. I deserve this. I want to do this. This aligns with my values. It's so important. And then number 5, a big blockbuster from Dr. Swart's book, name the saboteur. This is one of my favorite things. If you can name it, you can tame it. And give your inner saboteur a name or an identity, like Doubting Debbie or Avoidant Alex, or make you can be your name, but you could also name it Wilbur. I don't care. And externalizing the voice makes it easier to notice when it's running the show. So talk out loud and address it in its tracks. I laugh at my monkey brain all the time, and calling it a monkey brain is not new. Meditation people call it monkey brains, but I just laugh because I see it as a physical monkey. And it is always trying to derail my focus and meditation. And I giggle when I'm trying to do something and I'm getting really frustrated and I'm upset and I feel there's huge blocks in front of me and I can't do something. I sit back, I take a couple of deep breaths, and then I just go, well, that was the monkey brain. Okay, what do you try to do? You have overcome so much more in your life stuff. So let's laugh about it and say, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I say it out loud. And then, ask, whose voice is this? Mine or old programming? This is powerful. Name that saboteur and say, who is that saboteur? That is my old subconscious brain, old programming trying to protect me. And it doesn't mean I'm broken and it doesn't mean it's bad. It's trying to protect me. And so much of our subconscious we are unaware of. So go back to that self-speak to reprogram that you're worth every single step and get rid of the old programming and break through the barriers and just try to do one thing this week. So another blockbuster is repetition builds the path. And this goes back to effort. This goes back to self-speak. Neurons that fire together wire together. This is a big, big deal. Dr. Swart, get that book again, The Source. New behaviors feel awkward or pointless at first, and that's totally normal. Some say it can take 21 days to form a new habit. However, long it takes you the best way to do it is to start and stick with it. So 21 days, 5 days, a month, it does not matter. New behaviors will always feel awkward, and that's that old programming. You didn't know how to do something until you knew how to do it. So you don't know how to visualize and take actions towards those things you want to manifest in your life until you do it. And then you have new programming and a new path. So your brain needs consistent repetition to make a new path automatic. Start small and daily. Even 2 minutes count. It's not about effort. It's about frequency. Keep that in mind. But put reminders in your path like the gym shoes, or put a recipe book out on the counter of healthy recipes, or a picture of something as a reward once you've gone to the gym 5 times. I'm a big fan of visuals because I'm old school that way and I don't have a system on my phone. I have a paper calendar frequently hanging up in front of me because I love to see, okay, I went to the gym today, check. Meditated today, check. Wrote a little bit more in my book, check. I like to see those visuals. And then after I do 5, well, you know what? I'm going to go get myself that gluten-free donut that they have over at this sidecar donut place here in LA. Maybe that's my motivation. Or, example, instead of I'll work out an hour every day, I'll do 5 minutes of movement after brushing my teeth. I have a yoga mat next to my TV, and I allow myself to watch some TV at night because I just need my brain to rest and just shut off. And I'm watching Survivor right now with my daughter, or, I love game shows, and I like stuff that's not dystopic and murderous. So I love kids' movies right now. I'm just trying to reprogram my gentle brain, and I'll pull out my yoga mat. because it's right there. And I know I want to become much more flexible. My flexibility has been terrible lately. So I'll pull out my yoga mat and I have a stretching routine. And now I am so much more flexible, which then makes me much better at the gym. It all builds on itself. Try simple 2-minute things. Frequency, remember that. Another block is interrupt the loop. So self-sabotage lives in unconscious patterns. This is a big deal. This is in Dr. Swart's book. Notice your loop. Here's the loop. It's going to be in the show notes. Trigger. You have a trigger. So, and I'll go back to drinking. Maybe, I always drink on Saturday nights, but I'm trying not to drink right now. I'm trying to be healthier. But it's Saturday night and so your thought is, it's Saturday. I'm triggered by just the day. And then my thought is, I'm going to go out with friends. So I'm going to order a drink. I'm just going to get a drink. And then you have feelings about that. But I promised myself I wasn't going to do that. But it's just one Saturday and I'm going to be with friends and I don't want to feel awkward. And then you have the sabotage behavior, right? So what we want to do is interrupt that loop. And I teach my clients to create a pattern interrupter, a phrase, a breath, a movement, or a reframe. And let me go back to my salespeople that I coach. Maybe somebody has to call a list of prospects, prospective referral partners or leads, and they're stuck, they're triggered. I've called people in the past and people hang up on me and these people don't want to hear from me and all this sad, negative. And so instead we create an interrupter. I want to call, but self-sabotage, but my emotions, and then I'm just not going to do it. And instead of saying they're not going to do it, they go and do a bunch of other things until the day is over. And then another day goes by, a week goes by, and that self-sabotage eats at your potential. It eats at your heart, and you're not doing your best. Man, my people are frozen when they start with me, and we just unthaw them and unbox things and get it out of the way really fast. So what do you do if you're stuck in that pattern? You say, you know what? I'm going to take one action, and I'm going to tell myself, I can do this. It's really important to me. It's important to my family. It's important to that client because I have what they need. And I'm going to do, I can do this. Take a deep breath, and I'm going to pick up the phone, and I'm going to say, I'm worth this effort. These people need me, whatever your phrase is, but interrupt that loop. The trigger can be big opportunity arises, and the thought is, I'm not ready. And you interrupt that by saying, this is just fear talking. I choose courage over comfort. And I, myself personally, am stepping into networking. I'm taking every call. I am scheduling things. I did my first video podcast episode, which I haven't launched yet. I was really nervous and I did it. And now I'm going to start doing more of those. Just step into it. Number 6 on our blockbuster things. Regulate before you act. You can't access logic from a flooded brain. So I really, really, really highly think you should stop self-sabotage. It often kicks in when your nervous system is dysregulated. When we're dysregulated and our willpower is down and we're hungry, angry, tired, lonely, overwhelmed, you have to use body-based tools. I am really good at deep breathing. I get myself because I meditate frequently. And what meditation does is teaches you the ability to calm your brain quickly when you have a regular 5, 10, 15-minute meditation process. My clients all do this. And you can then just calm yourself down and then do what you need to do. You can control self-sabotage and take those next steps, which can be scary. So some of the things you can do, deep breathing, or a cold water splash on your face. Shake it out. Get up. I have some of my people do jumping jacks. I have audio clips from YouTube people listen to that's just meditative, calming. And what it does is it calms your vagus nerve. It calms your breathing. It calms your dopamine, response, everything. Walking barefoot on the ground, humming, chanting. Regulate first, then re-engage with intention. Another blocker is make your environment work for you. Willpower is overrated. People say, they should be able to do that if they just have willpower. They could push through if they just do it, and it's not that simple. Your systems, your internal processes always win. So set up your space and schedule to reduce friction. Like I have my podcast equipment right next to me. Use cues and triggers that align with your goals, that align with your vision board, that align with your action board. Sticky notes with your why on it. My why is choice. I do what I do so that in my future life, I have choices available to me. Your default calendar reminders that pop up, and make those calendar appointments, make a noise when they pop up and alert you. Can't do this 10 minutes, every 10 minutes you can't have a reminder because that's going to distract you, but make them important enough that they clip in and they overwhelm your willpower issues. Locking your phone during working hours. Right now, while I'm recording this podcast, I have my phone on airplane mode because I don't want people bugging me. And then make a healthy snack to eat before you're allowed to eat a junky snack. I have to do this because I just recently quit sugar. It took me 2 weeks to break away from sugar, and it was rough. And now, instead of eating sugar, I say, you know what? I'm going to have an apple. It has sugar in it, but it has a lot of fiber, and it's really good for your gut health. And or if I'm really craving something bad for me, like a bag of potato chips, I'll say, you know what? I'm always making myself healthy stuff like quinoa with vegan feta and cucumbers and tomatoes and a vinaigrette. I'll eat a bowl of that. And then if I still want potato chips, all right, I can have potato chips. But usually I've fed my body nutrient-rich food, and now I don't want that junk food anymore. So number 8 is talk to yourself, not from yourself. Change your inner dialogue from reaction to direction. When sabotage thoughts arise, don't argue. Coach yourself. I try to teach all of my clients to transform into self-coaching. Use you language instead of I. Don't say, I've done hard things before. Say, you've done hard things before. Become your own partner. Become your own coach. I tell people when you're doing journaling, you are self-therapizing. So put this stuff down and say, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. This increases self-leadership and it reduces emotional fusion. And then you feel like you have a trusted partner in yourself. It really helps. Now, number 9. Celebrate micro wins. This is incredibly important. My clients, when they achieve, they've got a new contract, they didn't do a behavior they wanted, this is a huge win. I celebrate wins. Dopamine is currency in our lives right now, and it teaches your brain what to repeat. And when we go and grab snacks, we get a dopamine rush. When we don't do our work and we're on social media, we're getting a dopamine rush. We need to make micro wins about the actions we want for our vision. So every small win deserves celebration. Did you do something, an action that was scary towards your vision and your action board? Great, let's celebrate. Whatever celebration looks like for you. Say it out loud. That was like me. That was me. You did that. Congratulations. Something I learned in cheerleading camp when I was 16. Pick your arm up over your head, bend your elbow, pat yourself on the back. I always love that one. Train your brain to associate effort with reward. And this reinforces new habits faster. Stop rewarding inaction. Stop getting rewards from social media and empty consumption. Start rewarding yourself for effort. And finally, we've covered why it's important to put a vision manifestation dream into action. Now let's create let's really prompt ourselves to think about why we're doing that. What is one thing that you can say you want but haven't moved on yet? What's one action you can take today? So let's really reflect on that and build that into your vision board. Get your vision board out if you have one, if you started one. And most of us, if you're listening to this, you're trying to grow yourself. Get it out and think of one thing you can do towards something on that board. And if those things are really big, like I want a house, okay, what can you do to work towards getting a house? There's actions you can take today. I break all of my clients' goals, big goals, into small, manageable, bite-sized pieces. And next thing you know, they do 5 things a week. They've got 25 things done this month. Bam, they are moving forward and it starts to pick up speed. So pick one desire, write down 3 concrete steps to move towards it this week, and then the biggest thing you can do is share this with an accountability partner or your journal if you don't have somebody to share it with. Like I shared too much about my podcast with somebody because I'm honestly, I love people and I trust them inherently. And I maybe need to wait to give people, see if people are worthy of my trust. That's something I'm learning about myself right now. But, sharing what you want to do with somebody you trust or in a journal yourself is the best way to be accountable and to see if you're able to take those steps. And it pushes you. And then set a date in your calendar in a month. And then go back over all the things you did. Keep a Word document and then keep a record of, I'm going to work on my manifestation today. Here's 3 things I'm going to do. Boom, boom, boom. Schedule them in your calendar and then have an appointment with yourself and go back over your journal at that appointment. Go to your public library and sit in a space and read your journal and open up your computer and go on there and say, what did I do towards my things today? And then, something that Dr. Swart quoted is, you don't get what you want. You get what you believe you can have and what you consistently act on. That is the neuroscience behind manifestation. So if this episode gave you clarity, I really, really hope it did, because I really want people to have actionable things to work on. Share it with someone else who you know is ready to go from kind of wishing to doing things. And I've got a lot of people sharing. They know somebody who's really struggling, maybe gone through some of the things I've gone, lost purpose, completely gave up their entire life, and they're starting over from scratch, especially at an older age. And they're trying to find friends. They're trying to combat loneliness. They're trying to build a life, and they're really scared or nervous or anxious or any of that. Share these episodes with them. Get them listening to something positive, reprogramming their brain, because belief and faith and hope are so incredibly important to us. And then next week, we're going to cover the science of self-belief and how to train your brain to back you up instead of blocking you. And I can't wait to share that with you. And let me know if you have any questions in the blog, in the podcast episode posting. There's places to click and you can send me a message, or go to throwoffthelines.com or send me an email at info@throwoffthelines.com. And I really hope that you have a great week, and let's start building hope. There are dire times right now, and we're being sold so many reasons to not have hope. But nobody can take away our internal strength. Nobody can take away our hope, our desire for better. And building this, your vision board can be hopeful things for our society and hopeful things for our world. And we're powerful. We're beyond powerful. So I hope this has helped you in some way. And until next time, throw off those lines and live a total life. Take care. Thank you for joining me on Throw Off the Lines. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe for future episodes and extras, and leave a review. Share it with someone who needs a total inspiration. You can also find us on Facebook or Instagram and our Throw Off the Lines website. If you want to be a guest or have questions for the host, sign up on the website and we'll get back to you. Until next time, throw off those lines and live your best life.